Some people in life are fortunate. They have the space, they have the budget, and they have the time to pick out the best things in life. And they walk in and they go, I just want the best. I want the one that looks the most impressive. I want the one that's the biggest. I want the one that comes with the most accessories. I don't care how much room it takes up. I don't care how much it costs. Just give me the best. And that's why I'm standing in front of the Force USA G20 Pro. If you were to walk into the Force USA showroom here and say, give me the best, give me the biggest, the most impressive, this is what they would show you. And this is what we're looking at today on GymCrafter. Welcome back to the GymCrafter YouTube channel, everybody. My name is Tim. I am the head gym nerd here at GymCrafter.com, the website that I built to help ordinary folks build home and garage gyms that they absolutely love. And today I'm looking at something that I don't know that most ordinary folks would buy. This is definitely a little bit of a level above of what everything I've looked at here in Draper, Utah at the Force USA headquarters. But I wanted to show you because not only is this the most fully featured all-in-one trainer that Force USA makes, it is also, and it surprised me a little bit, this is also their best-selling model by quite a bit. More people buy this dollar-wise than anything else that they make, and it's a pretty big gap between this and the next model down. So I wanted to take a few minutes and show you guys, even if you're just dreaming and you want to see, hey, what is the absolute best one to have on it, see how it compares to the C10, which I reviewed while I'm here as well, and to see if maybe this is right for your gym. If you've got the space and you've got the budget and you just want something that looks like this, that has literally every option you could want all in one purchase, then this might be the video for you. So let's dig in and we're going to take a tour of this kind of top to bottom, front to back. I'm going to try and show you a lot of the stuff. I'm going to skip some of the stuff because some things on these all-in-one trainers are universal from one to the next, but I'll hit the high points and what makes this particular unit special. Now, this unit as it sits is made of two pieces. It's the main G20 Pro, which is $59.99, and then on the back, which you can't see from this camera angle, but we'll get a close-up for you, is the additional 1-to-1 ratio lat pull down low row station that mounts on the back, and that's another $1,300. So you're looking, as this sits, not including this heavy bag, but including this arm, at about $7,300 before you buy a bench, before you buy weights for the Smith machine, and before you buy whatever's going to hang on this arm, which we'll definitely look at. So that's the tour that we're going to take. We're going to take a look around all of this. Let's get started. Let's start with an overview of the machine as a whole and kind of everything that you get. Now, the base unit, the G20 Pro, doesn't come with this thing way back here. That's the additional piece, which I'll show you in a second. So you're going to get an all-in-one functional trainer. You've got a Smith machine. It is not counterbalanced. It is a 35-pound Smith bar with plenty of height. One of the things I do like about this is at 6'6", I can do pull-ups on this without having to bend my knees too much. It's a really good, spacious unit. There's more room inside this than most of their other models, both left to right and front to back. The Smith machine racks way higher than I would ever need it for squats. So I do like that about this. So there's plenty of room inside. You're gonna get a functional trainer. Then these trolleys slide up and down on 2x2 uprights with 5/8" holes that are spaced 1 inch apart. So nice, easy way to dial everything in if you're gonna be doing barbell work out front. Also, because of the height, these trolleys get up out of the way for squats. A lot of these all-in-one trainers, if you're tall like I am, what happens when you rack the bar is you end up hitting yourself on the Smith machine, but because the Smith machine is nice and set back a little bit, or you end up hitting your weights on the walkout on these trolleys, or the cables get in the way. This has got a lot of space that allows you to do that. You've got your multi-grip pull-up station up top. You've got the ability built in, if you don't get the tower in the back, to do low rows on the post itself, to do your lat pull downs from here. Again, nice high ability to get a nice stretch at the top of the lat pull down if you're using this. Also high enough to get a full stretch on the tricep push down. So just a typical all-in-one with your functional trainer and the Smith machine. The weight stacks on this are 2-to-1 for the functional trainer portion, and it is a 289-pound stack, so about 145-pound feel weight on each one. And then that's where the addition in the back comes in. So, hey everybody, coming at you from the editing desk. As I was editing this video, what I realized is I left out two really important things about the G20 Pro. The first one is that even though I make a big deal in this video about it being large, if you were to not add that additional stack in the back and then not put the weight horns on in the back, this is actually the shallowest unit that Force USA makes. So if you're willing to live without the arm and the stack in the back and the weight storage, you can actually fit this in a lot of places their other units won't go. It's a little wider, but it's not as deep. The other one, and this is probably more important or more interesting to you guys, whenever I do the reviews and the Force USA stuff, a lot of comments reach out and they say, hey, this is 14 gauge steel. Do they have anything that's 11 gauge steel? Well, the G20 Pro is 11 gauge steel. Anything in their Pro line is 11 gauge. And that's actually one of the reasons for the price difference. And I should have pointed that out when I talked about pricing this video, but I thought I'd jump in from the editing desk and fix that for you. And now back to the video. So by adding this station in the back, what the station in the back does is it adds a center attached lat pull down up here. It adds a center attached low row down below. There is a kind of a flip up leg pad down here that allows you to have a knee brace for your lat pull down. There's a flip up dip station in the back, and that is an additional 1-to-1 289-pound stack that will allow you to have a much higher feel weight because it's 1-to-1. So your lat pull down and your low row, which you typically will do more weight than you would the functional trainer movements, it allows you to do that separately. One of the cool things about this as you look at this setup for how big it is, there's a lot to this and the footprint is much bigger, but the nice thing is for those of you out there buying things for your family where families all want to train at the same time, maybe the husband and the wife want to train at the same time, maybe the wife and a couple of the kids want to train at the same time, by having the stack separate for the 1-to-1 for the lat pull down and the low row versus your 2 functional trainers on either side, you can literally have 3 people doing cable exercises because there's 3 independent cable stacks on this at all at the same time and not interfering with each other's workout. You could have somebody doing a Smith machine and the functional trainer. So there's a lot of versatility as far as people working out. When you add, there's a really cool pull-up bar on the side I'll show you with a ton of different stations and globes. And then you've got this swing arm out here where you can mount like a relentless rope, or you can mount a heavy bag that swings in and out to get it out of the way. You can really have quite a few different people doing a number of different things at the same time. So typically Force USA, their focus is on getting a lot of stuff in a small footprint, and that's what we saw with the review of the C10. I'm not sure at the time of posting this video if I'll have my C10 review out or not. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss all the content I got here in Utah while I was at Force USA. But this is not concerned about footprint. This is for somebody who has a lot of room, and like I said, you're not trying to squeeze this in between your washer and dryer. You really have plenty of space to work out in front, to work out in back. This thing goes way back in here, and then the back of this is pretty far back on the back end of this unit, and I could probably say back a few more times if I tried. But overall, like I said, nice, just general all-in-one, but just those are the things that make this unique. Let's take a close-up look at some of the specifics that this can do that maybe some of the other ones can't do, or they just make this a nice top-end option. Now, one of the things that makes the G20 Pro different than the others that you won't necessarily see right away on first glance is this is going to come with pretty much every accessory. This comes with 25 different accessories, from your cable attachments to the row attachments to neutral grip pull down attachment. It's got a ton. Most of the other machines that they make are going to come with 10 or 15 attachments. This comes with all of them. And a couple of those things that are included are like this, their top end pull up station with the globes and about as many different angles as you could possibly want to do. So that's hanging off of one side of this. When you look back here, what you'll see is you've got not only hanging barbell storage, but I also have vertical standing barbell storage. The weight plate storage is off the back. Now, normally I'm not a big fan of that because on a space-saving unit, which you see a lot of these all-in-ones, they'll put all their weight storage in the back. And what you don't realize is that you've got to have the thing a good 18 inches off the wall just to comfortably get behind those weight horns and remove the plates. Well, with this one, the cool thing is that this rear column back here goes back plenty, so I've got plenty of room to get in here and grab these weights. So the weight storage is actually functional and usable, but you've got nice weight plate storage that gets everything out of the way back here. It's not sticking off to the side. And then the space that you need for that stack in the back, that just gives you the space that you need. So again, a good example of some of the accessories that just kind of come with this. This is for the folks who just go, hey, I want to buy a gym for my house and I need it to have everything. And this would be the one to buy for that. Let's go around the other side and take a look at what we got over there. When you walk up to the G20, you cannot help but notice this giant swing arm hanging off the side with this heavy bag. Now, this heavy bag is sold separately, but the cool thing about this swing arm is there's a couple of mounting points on here where you can hang stuff. The couple that people have pointed out to me while I'm here, obviously the heavy bag, I would love to have something like this. If you're gonna do a heavy bag in your gym, you want it hanging. You don't want it on a stationary stand-up platform. Talk to anybody who boxes or who works out on a bag. They'll tell you that the hanging bag is gonna be much much more advantageous for your training. It's gonna be easier on your wrists. It's gonna be more enjoyable to use. So having something like this that you can hang either here or even further out on this arm is nice. Now this arm with this little pop pin back here, it allows you to kind of move this arm back and forth, so you can get it out of the way of doing stuff. It goes almost all the way forward there, and then there's a mirror back here that's in the way, but it also goes all the way back over here. I will try not to break the mirror. That's about as far as I can do it before I touch the mirror, but it would actually go pretty much all the way back behind, so that if you want to get this out of the way in your garage or your basement, this will fold up out of the way, and then when you want to use it, it pops right out. So this arm comes with the G20 Pro. It's one of the features of it. I think it's really cool. I think that those two things are probably just the tip of the iceberg as far as what you could mount or use on something out here. I could even see people with kids or small kids putting like a swing on this, right? And you just have your kids can be on a swing, because this does lock into place with this pop pin, so your kids can do something to entertain themselves, do like a small kid's rope climb. I mean, you can, really your imagination is your only limit on something like that, but something that you don't see on these all-in-ones, again, because the design of this isn't to save space. The design of this is to be as fully featured as possible. Now, as with a lot of things that have a lot of stuff on them, while it does a lot of things, there are definitely some things that I wish were different about it. So first of all, while you've got these nice uprights with the laser engraved numbers, you can barely see these numbers. So as I was trying to move these pulleys up and down and get them set at the same height, or put J-cups and safety spotters on here and get them at the same height, if you don't have really good lighting in your gym, you're not going to be able to see these numbers. And with these holes as close together as they are, it's real easy to be off by hole. Because if your hole spacing is big, you can eyeball it and get it right most of the time. But when they're this close together, you really would want to see the upright numbers on there. I don't have an issue. I know some people push back on the 2x2 and the gauge of steel on these. When you look at how heavy of a gauge of steel the braces are made of, the cross members, like this cross member on this pull-up bar is just as beefy as you could ever want it to be. There's no issues with the stability here. The only drawback to the 2x2 is you're not stuck, because you can definitely buy additional accessories for a 2x2 rack with 5/8" holes, so you're not limited there. There's lots of companies who make those. One of the accessories that this comes with, like these spotter arms, it's just not very deep. I would love to see something more deep. There's plenty of padding here, both on the front and the back, so your bar's not going to make any metal-to-metal contact like it would on some of their other products. But this just isn't deep enough, because your J-hooks are coming out to here, so by the time you unrack for a squat, you're only really working with a functional 8 inches of spotter arm. So I would love to see this be a little bit deeper. I would also say that the J-cups themselves could be better. This is going to come with roller J-cups that are convertible to standard J-cups, but the overall design of those, the front lip on those J-cups is a little bit tall for my taste. And something I learned here while I'm in Utah, I am not a big fan of roller J-cups. So I do like the fact that you can switch out the roller portion to the fixed portion. I don't think I squat heavy enough to see the benefit of a roller J-cup, which is really the one place that either a squat or a bench that's super, super heavy. And I know I look like I can lift a ton of weight. I probably aren't. I can't lift enough weight to benefit from those roller J-cups. So for me, they're lost. If you're lifting that much weight, then it's something that comes with, which is going to be a nice feature to have. Another thing that I wish was different is, as cool as it is to have this flip-up dip station back here, so it's got these kind of Matterhorn style dip bars that flip up and down back here. For me, I can't do dips in here because of the way that this bar is. If I was to do dips on that, I would hit my head. I also feel a little bit cramped, so if you're a taller person, this dip station isn't why you would buy this rear tower. You would buy this rear tower because of the one-to-one cable stack and the fact that it adds a center attached pull-down point for your lat pull-down that's a little bit easier than trying to get it over here. The height of this is actually the same as this, so you're not picking up any height with that. I would like to have seen, if you're going to add something in the back, maybe a little bit taller, not only for the dip station, but also for the height of the lat pull-down, because at 6'6", I can get a full stretch, but I think if it was heavily loaded, I would probably top out. So if you're 6'6", you may not get a full stretch on the lat pull down. If you're 6'4", you probably will. So it's real, real close, but that's another thing I wish was different. Another thing that I wish was different while I'm running through them is, this is going to come with a leg press attachment for the Smith machine. Now, a lot of you have seen people who use a Smith machine, they lay on the ground, they push up with their feet. Well, this is going to come with this. and this plate attaches to the bar, and the plate goes down so you lay on the ground and you push your feet against this. For me, this takes a lot of getting used to. This is not a substitute for having a leg press. If you want something with a leg press, I would definitely check out the C10, which I mentioned before with its connected bench. That is a much more effective and functional leg press alternative to this. This works okay. It's just, to me, it's a little bit gimmicky. The way that you have to turn your ankles to get it hooked and unhooked, I don't think that you should have something that your feet are on that kind of flexes while you're using it. I would much rather have this be fixed, but it can't be because you've got to turn it to hook and unhook the Smith machine, but it does come with that. The diamond plate on here is definitely nice. This also acts as your foot plate if you decide not to get the center attached low row in the back. This acts as your foot plate to do a low row on the cable stack, which is nice. So you do get a nice big place to push off if you're going to be doing your low rows on the functional trainer itself. As far as the diamond plate goes, the interesting thing for me is directly underneath my feet, there's a brace that goes across the bottom. Again, there are so many braces and bolts and kind of stability features in this. These things are just, the whole Force USA line is rock solid as far as stability goes, as far as durability goes. All their stuff comes with a lifetime frame warranty. I asked them how many replacement things they sent out under that warranty, and the answer was none. So these things will last you as long as you want them to last. But one of the braces on this G20 is a diamond plate brace that goes across the floor under my feet. And while it's cool, it gives me a little grip if I'm going to be squatting in the Smith machine, and that feels really cool. The problem is if I'm doing the low row and I'm sitting down in front of the center cable stack, my butt is right on that metal pad. So if you're wearing sweats or shorts or something like that, it gives you, it's more of a slick area instead of sitting on the rubber floor. So I do wish that that was either more textured with like sandpaper, or maybe just not there at all. I might need to be there for structural stuff, but maybe move it so that it's not right where you're gonna sit. So those are the few things on this that I wish were different. There are a few of them, so nothing's perfect, and none of them are deal breakers, but those are the things that I can, as I look at the G20 Pro, if I was to redesign a version 2, those are the things that I would change. Now I wanna sneak inside here, and I wanna show you a really cool touch that you see on these Force USA machines that you don't see on a lot of other people's stuff. And usually when you're looking at this stuff, you can tell that the people who designed it work out or they don't, and a lot of the cheaper imported stuff that you see out there, you can tell the people who designed it, they don't work out. Whereas the people that design the Force USA stuff, they clearly do, and let me show you why I say that. All right, so here we are over on the side by one of the weight stacks, and you're gonna see this particular feature on both sides of the stack. But if you look up here, there's 2 silver pins here. There are 2 silver pins down here. Those are integrated band pegs into the weight stack, and that's something that you typically only see on much higher end stacked units. It's something where a cheaper option would be to have these removable band pegs that you have to slide in and out. With this, they're built in. They're located on both the inside and on the outside, so you can get in and get bands on these. Adding banded resistance to your cable stacks is something that really adds a ton of versatility, and like I said, it shows that the people who design this actually train and see the value of putting things in here that you're gonna get value of while you train. And there's little touches like that all over this, but if you guys follow the channel at all, you know I love banded work. I make a ton of shorts about using bands, and I would use these all the time, and it's just a nice feature to have. And like I said, one of those little touches that you don't find on a lot of other machines. So what are my final thoughts on the Force USA G20 Pro? I gotta be honest, I have mixed feelings about it. When I first looked at it and I was shooting the B-roll for this last night and I was working on it and I was training on it, I really enjoyed working out on it, but everything that I did, I'm like, you know, I can do this on the C10. There's no leg press on this. There's fewer cable ratios on this. It's a much larger footprint. So when I came in this morning, I went to Ryan here at Force USA and I said, hey, do me a favor and sell me the value of something that's $3,300 more, because the C10 is $4,000. It's $4,700 or $4,800 with the connected bench. So this is $2,500 more as you see it sit here. And I'm like, I gotta be honest, Ryan, I'm not seeing the value difference between the two. And we got to talking, and what I started to understand, and I'm gonna make a podcast about this because it's something that I think a lot of people misunderstand, is that when you look at customer bases who buy stuff to work out at home, there's the folks who subscribe to channels like this, right? And those people are power rack guys, and we're barbell guys, and we're bumper plate guys, or I'm sorry, a lot of you are steel plate guys, but we like to work out. We like to pick out the different color cross members for the weight storage on our rack, and we like to be specific about the hole size so that we can get a particular accessory that we like, and our belt squat and things like that. And people who buy that stuff don't buy all-in-one trainers, either the C10 or the G20 Pro. So for those of you out there who are that type of customer and you're looking at the people who buy this and you're like, why would you buy something like that? I gotta be real honest with you, the people who buy this stuff look at us and go, why would you guys buy stuff like that? So there's different customer bases, and just like there's different customer bases for those primary types of your main piece for your gym, which is your rack and your attached accessories, there are different types of customers for this type of thing too, the all-in-one trainer. And while for me, if I was to come in and they were to say, hey Tim, we want to give you one of these all-in-one trainers, I would ask for the C10 and the connected bench in a heartbeat. To me, with my needs, that's the best value here. In a small footprint, it's got a ton of stuff. I love the unilateral attachments for the lat pull down and the low row. It's just me. I'm the only one who would be training on it, so I don't have to worry about a family or kids or anybody else or sharing it with anyone. So for me, that's what I would buy. I would save the $2,500, but as I started thinking about it and talking to Ryan, there's a large group of customers who they're successful, the budget isn't an issue. And as crazy as that is for some of you out there to kind of understand, I sold high-end appliances for a while, and I gotta tell you, the first time I sold a $100,000 stove, and yes, there are $100,000 stoves, I was just blown away that somebody would spend that much on a stove. And then I looked at their house on Zillow and I went, oh, for some people, they've got a house that fits. They're not trying to squeeze this into a 1.5 car garage, right? So my needs aren't their needs. So somebody who comes in and they just want to buy a gym for their new house, right? And they're like, I don't have time, because usually people with the budget don't have the time. That's the trade-off that you make in life. And they go, I just want, give me the best one you have. I want the one that looks the most impressive. I want the one that has the most possible features. I don't want to get something and go, oh, it doesn't have this or it doesn't have that. I don't want to have to go pick out a bunch of extra stuff. Just give me something that all the people in my household can use and just enjoy and not have to worry about buying a bunch of stuff and have it out on Thursday and get it set up for me. This is that customer's gym, and this is why this is Force USA's best-selling unit. I was scratching my head for a while when I found that out. I'm like, how is this one the best-selling one? And that's how, because as many people who are subscribed to these channels and comment on these videos, you have to understand that this customer doesn't watch home gym YouTube. They don't subscribe to my channel. They don't comment. They don't like the videos, which, by the way, you guys should do all of that stuff. They don't buy through my affiliate links, which also you guys should do down below. Go to forceusa.com/GymCrafter. It automatically populates a 5% coupon code, so make sure you use that if you do buy it. But this customer is not going to do any of that, and I'm never going to see them again. I'm never going to know that they watched my video. But there's an exponentially higher number of people in that category than there are a lot of us home gym dorks who are just, looking at barbells and owning 50 different barbells and different kinds of plates and things like that. So if you are one of the customers for this, I appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully this gave you enough information. If you've been looking at what do I buy for my house and I just want to buy a gym and you're that customer, then this is a great way to go. You're not going to be disappointed. You're going to be happy that you spent the money. You and your family are going to enjoy it. It's going to look great in your house. It's going to impress the neighbors when they come over. It's going to do all the things that you want it to do. And that's where the G20 Pro fits in. So that's my very long-winded wrap up. I've been trying to get my head around the differences in these models, and this, to be honest with you, was the one that I had the hardest time. If you've got any questions, if I didn't answer something, if I didn't cover a feature, please drop those in the comments below. And as always, I appreciate you guys watching these videos. I appreciate your support. And until the next review, which will be back home in Chicago, I'm Tim from GymCrafter.